several countries in Asia, Malaysia, Japan, South Korea. He avoided Vietnam just for old time's sake. But the big event was his sit-down with Xi. Just before their talk, Trump sent China a message. He announced that he's ordered the Pentagon to start testing nuclear weapons again. And that's right, if they won't give him the peace prize the regular way, he's gonna take it by force.
Fundamentally, it's different because Donald Trump was much less successful in the first term in creating a climate of fear. This is what he's after. He wants to make the law firms afraid. He wants to make universities afraid. He wants to make immigrants afraid.
Donald Trump just had one of those weeks when the universe seemed determined to humble him for sport, with Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Schiff leading the charge. Kimmel fired off his trademark jokes while Schiff delivered some sharp congressional shade, and together they managed to break the internet. When late-night comedy collides with political drama, chaos is guaranteed. So what exactly did they pull off this time?
Won't give him the peace prize the regular way, he's gonna take it by force. Reporters on Air Force One asked him why he decided to do this and why he decided to do it right before he met with the Chinese, and his answer was basically, I did it because they did it.
Afraid. He wants to make citizens afraid. He wants to make news organizations, CBS and Paramount, afraid. He wants to make ABC afraid, and he is succeeding. He is succeeding. And more than...
Donald Trump has survived bankruptcies, indictments, and enough spray tan to qualify as an environmental hazard, but nothing could have prepared him for this week's 1-2 punch, a brutal combo of late-night sarcasm and Capitol Hill shade that left his ego wobbling like a bad comb-over.
Testing, I think it's appropriate that we do also.
Any details around the testing, sir? Like where, when?
It'll be announced. You know, we have test sites. It'll be announced.
Well, I have a feeling those test sites are like Jeffrey Epstein's house, where he's hiding the file. Tomorrow will mark a full month that our government's been shut down. Yesterday, we learned that insurance premiums for millions of Americans, their health care, are about to skyrocket.
If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. This week, Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Schiff didn't plan or coordinate a thing, yet their separate moments collided like a cosmic roast. The result? A perfectly timed takedown that ruined Trump's mood, his night, and probably his breakfast the next morning.
Republicans in Congress afraid because he wants them to do his will. He wants the judges to be afraid they'll get impeached if they cross him, afraid for their own personal safety if they cross him. He wants to create a climate of fear. And he has done so in 6 months, which is radically different than the first term. In part, it's different because in the first term, there were at least some people.
It all started innocently enough, or at least as innocent as things can get when Trump's name starts trending. Jimmy Kimmel was minding his own business, probably roasting another celebrity scandal, when Trump suddenly jumped back into the spotlight to remind everyone he's still the self-appointed main character of American chaos.
That's supposed to review projects like this, preferably before they happen. It's called the Commission of Fine Arts. Their job is to oversee new federal architecture, or it was anyway. Trump fired all of them. They were supposed to advise the president on matters of design and aesthetics to preserve the dignity of the nation's capital. But this is Trump's idea of dignified aesthetics, so now Trump's planning to bring in a new group whose tastes align more.
Naturally, Kimmel couldn't resist. He delivered a few jabs that hit harder than a tax audit, and within minutes, Trump's name was plastered all over the internet, begging for sympathy that never came. Meanwhile, over in Washington, Adam Schiff, the man Trump treats like a recurring nightmare, was wrapping up another masterclass in calm, calculated destruction. Schiff didn't raise his voice, didn't need a microphone, and didn't even need Trump in the room. With his signature composure, he reminded everyone why Trump's least favorite phrase might just be congressional oversight. And here's where the irony shines. Two men from completely different worlds, one armed with punchlines, the other with PowerPoints, managed to dismantle Trump's carefully maintained chaos without ever coordinating. Kimmel's segment came first, sharp as ever, disguised in laughter. Every time Trump's name surfaces on his show, you can almost hear the audience inhale collectively, bracing for whatever absurdity comes next. Because with Kimmel, you never know what he'll spotlight, the contradictions, the wild statements, Or the ongoing paradox of a man who insists he's both the most successful person alive and the most persecuted victim in history. At this point, Trump isn't just a political figure, he's performance art in perpetual motion.
It's going to be a disaster for our economy. It's going to be a disaster for hardworking families that are going to have to pay more for auto parts or getting their car fixed or, buying groceries or anything else. These other countries, many of whom are our closest allies, are going to retaliate against us. It's just simply going to escalate from here. I talked to farmers out in California who still haven't recovered the market share they lost during the first Trump administration from the ill-fated tariffs then. So
This time, the timing was flawless. Kimmel's mockery hit the airwaves just as Schiff made headlines with a move that had Trump's team scrambling faster than his lawyers at 2 a.m. Schiff wasn't cracking jokes, he was making history. And that's something Trump despises even more. There's nothing worse for him than someone who can dismantle his image without shouting, name-calling, or using the word tremendous. Schiff's precision is surgical. He cuts with facts, not fury, and that drives Trump absolutely insane. The internet, of course, devoured it all. Within hours, social media was overflowing with memes, clips, and comments declaring what Trump dreads most, that he'd been thoroughly outplayed. Because for Trump, being roasted by a comedian is bad. Being outmaneuvered by a congressman is worse. But enduring both in the same week? That's not just humiliation, that's political trauma.
Trump thinks this is his house, which it is. When you stay at an Airbnb, you're not allowed to blow out a wall. He's not even a renter, he's a guest in the. He thinks he's OJ, he's actually Kato Kalin. I wonder if he's going to invite the winners of the World Series to this new ballroom of his. It was a tough night for the Dodgers last night. After they squeezed one out in 18 innings on Monday night, they had a 9-inning game, and the Blue Jays beat them. But the game, it may have been 9 innings. It felt long for Shohei Ohtani, who played all 18 innings Monday and then had to turn around and pitch in last night's game.
Kimmel's jokes weren't just about Trump. They were about the absurdity orbiting him. The rallies that feel more like cult festivals, the press releases that read like fan fiction, the constant cries of victimhood delivered from a private jet. Kimmel didn't need to exaggerate. He simply held up a mirror and let reality write the punchline. That's the genius. Trump's life has become both the setup and the joke. Meanwhile, Schiff's dismantling was far more deliberate. He wasn't cracking jokes, but his precision carried the same comedic rhythm. With a calm, measured tone, he laid out the facts. The kind of tone that says, I don't need to raise my voice to make you sweat. Every time he addresses Trump's antics, it feels less like politics and more like a weary teacher reading the report card of a student who refuses to learn. Trump can't win that fight, not because he's outmatched intellectually, though that's debatable, but because Schiff operates in a dimension Trump will never grasp: self-control.
Or do we not get that because he doesn't like us?
We will get help. We will get help. But it is alarming that they're talking about, for the first time ever, trying to condition relief after a natural disaster on completely unrelated things. But we're pushing back hard. And in my conversations with my Republican colleagues, I'm reasonably optimistic that they will drop that idea. We just saw some storms hit other parts of the country, different colored states. We don't want to get into a practice where you discriminate on natural disasters, whether they're hitting red state.
The internet turned the entire episode into a digital bonfire. Clips of Kimmel's roast spread like wildfire alongside footage of Schiff's precise takedown, forming a timeline that looked as if the universe itself had scheduled a Trump humiliation marathon. Fans of both men celebrated like it was the Super Bowl of sarcasm, while even casual observers tuned in just to see Trump's name trending for all the wrong reasons. It's fascinating how Trump's relationship with both comedy and politics has evolved. Kimmel's humor cuts deep, but Schiff's words felt like a slow, deliberate clap from reality itself, a reminder that we've seen this show before, and it never ends well for its star. Predictably, Trump couldn't let it go. He did what he always does when cornered, ranted, deflected, and painted himself as the eternal victim. The irony is striking. The man who built his brand on being untouchable now spends half his life claiming to be persecuted by comedians and congressmen. It's like Superman devoting all his time to tweeting about kryptonite. That's the enduring paradox of Trump. He craves attention but despises ridicule, demands loyalty but recoils from honesty, and can't see that the chaos he hates most is always self-made.
Watching our show over the past 2 nights, you know, I've been working on teeing up a major event. I think it could be bigger than the Super Bowl and Jake Paul fighting Dick Van Dyke combined. It could be very big. And all the credit goes to our Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, who strongly believes he would trounce 2 of his least favorite ladies in an IQ test.
They have Jasmine Crockett, a low IQ person. They have AOC's low IQ. You give her an IQ test, have her pass like the exam.
Trump wants to be adored, even by those clearly laughing at him, not with him. And when someone like Kimmel turns him into the punchline, it hits deeper than any insult, because that's the kind of rejection fame can't fix. Meanwhile, Schiff represents something Trump hates even more: consequences. Schiff doesn't mock to embarrass. He uses evidence to expose. He doesn't need to yell or name-call because the quiet weight of truth does the work for him. Every calm explanation lands like a silent rebuke to Trump's entire strategy of chaos and distraction. By midweek, the narrative was everywhere. Trump had been roasted from 2 directions and couldn't regain his footing. His supporters tried spinning it as another unfair attack, but the internet wasn't buying it. You can only play the victim card so many times before people realize it's just your brand. And when Kimmel's humor and Schiff's logic collide in the same news cycle, it creates the perfect storm of humiliation. No rally or campaign. Speech can erase, it's almost poetic, the man who once ruled the media with outrage now being outplayed by those using his own tactics against him. Schiff weaponizes composure. Kimmel weaponizes laughter. Together, they deliver a cultural double tap so precise it makes even Trump's most loyal followers wonder if the magic's finally gone. Now,
President Trump for all the water for the spigot that he turned to send all that water down the state?
Thank you was not exactly the 2 words. One of the 2 was the same. All right.
Are you ever, or at this point, are you surprised by anything?
I am surprised just how quickly they have created a climate.
the memes only got worse. One dubbed Trump's week keeping up with the indictments. Another showed Schiff's calm face beside Kimmel's grin with the caption, "Two different men, same outcome." Trump yelling at his TV. You couldn't scroll for 2 minutes without seeing another version of the theme. Trump losing a battle he didn't even know he was fighting. That's what makes it so funny. He keeps walking straight into it. Every time Kimmel cracks a joke, Trump takes the bait. Every time Schiff releases a statement, Trump amplifies it by reacting exactly as expected. It's a never-ending loop of self-inflicted chaos, the kind that would almost be tragic if it weren't so absurdly entertaining. People often wonder why Trump gets roasted so effectively, and the answer is simple. He provides the material. No one is more committed to being the main character even when the script is awful. Kimmel doesn't need to invent punchlines. And Schiff doesn't need to exaggerate. They just hold up the mirror and let reality speak for itself. By week's end, nothing had changed. Trump was fuming. Kimmel was smirking. Schiff remained unbothered. And the internet feasted, producing a flood of commentary that ranged from hilarious to downright brutal.
AOC go against Trump. Let Jasmine go against Trump.
I agree. It sounds like a challenge, right? I mean, now, as I've mentioned, not only do I want to see this contest happen, I want to make it happen. I believe this would be a once-in-a-lifetime television event. I want to give our brilliant, bigly-brained president a chance to teach those left-wing lightweights a thing or two about brain power live on national television. I'm calling it the James C. Kimmel Cognitive Aptitude and Mental Brain.
Late-night shows, podcasts, and even random TikToks joined in, replaying the highlights of Trump's meltdown like it had become a national pastime. For once, it wasn't about policy or politics. It was pure performance art. Deep down, Trump probably loved it. Not the ridicule, but the attention. For someone whose identity is built on being noticed, even negative attention feels better than silence. Yet there's a line between being relevant and being ridiculous, and lately, he's been careening toward the latter at Olympic-level speed. Kimmel's laughter lingered long after the show ended, illustrating the power of contrast. Two men operating in entirely different worlds highlighted the same truth from opposite ends. Kimmel proved that satire can expose hypocrisy more effectively than any lecture, while Schiff demonstrated that calm, measured logic can sting far harder than any insult. Together, their separate interventions reminded the world of an uncomfortable reality. Trump's biggest enemy isn't the media, the Democrats, or even his critics. It's himself. Specifically, his relentless inability to stop fanning the flames of his own chaos, ensuring the show never ends and the spectacle never fades.
If you could simply declassify by thinking about it, then frankly, if that's his view, he's even more dangerous than we may have thought, because with that view, he could simply spout off on anything he read in a presidential daily brief or anything he was briefed on by the CIA director to a visiting Russian delegation or any other delegation, and simply say, well, I thought about it, and therefore, when the words came out of my mouth, they were declassified. No, people work hard to get that information. People put their lives at risk to get that information.
As the week came to a close, life moved on for everyone. Everyone except Trump. He likely spent another sleepless night wondering why people keep laughing at him. Maybe it's because after all these years, he still treats politics like a reality show nobody takes seriously anymore. Maybe it's because every time he tries to project strength, someone like Kimmel or Schiff turns it into the world's most quotable irony. Or maybe it's because America has simply grown accustomed to the absurdity, and laughing at it has become the only sane response. Whatever the reason, one thing is clear. It was a terrible week to be Trump and a spectacular week to be anyone with a sense of humor. Kimmel delivered the laughs, Schiff delivered the logic, and together they created a sequence of events that proved karma doesn't need coordination. It only needs impeccable timing. In Trump's world, timing is everything. A joke on late-night TV or a line in a congressional report always ends the same way. Trump raging, the internet roaring, and everyone else realizing that the man who once claimed he could handle anything can't handle being laughed at. It's poetic justice, served with a perfect punchline.